What's up, Michigan State fans? This is Jacob Watts here back for another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. It's now our pod for Saturday, February 28th, 2026. Lots to break down here today. I'm recording this on Friday evening. Went to West Lafayette, saw a heck of a basketball game between Michigan State and Purdue. Michigan State, of course, pulling out the win, biggest win of the season. No bones about it. Their most impressive win of the season, just in terms of maybe not their most impressive performance, but their most impressive win. Uh, I mean, it's the type of win that can transform your season. You don't win in Mackey very much. MSU hasn't won in Mackey very much. It's been 12 years since they last beat Purdue in their own building. And I think it was like, even if you want to like go back to the last time they beat Purdue when Purdue was ranked, it was back to like 2010 or something. Again, it's been so tough to win there. Again, with 7 straight losses to Purdue at Mackey, but the losing streak in that building was 8, technically, because MSU lost that UCLA game in the first 4 round of the 2021 NCAA tournament in Mackey. Like, it's been that cursed of a place. And Michigan State went in and pulled off the upset. I didn't think Michigan State was going to win. I didn't think they had that much of a chance to win. But they found a way, despite, I don't think Purdue played poorly. I thought Michigan State just won the game because Purdue went 12 for 25 from three and didn't, and MSU still won. Purdue out rebounded Michigan State by 2. Michigan State still won. That's usually not the way that Michigan State wins games. But still, they found a different path in this game to go get a huge win. And again, there were this was a big stakes game. Both Michigan State and Purdue were 12-4 in Big Ten play entering the game. That means the winner of that game got to be a game above the other team with 3 games left with the head-to-head tiebreaker. MSU got it. So again, very, very, and again, when winning at Mackey, that's the type of thing that can boost you up a seed line when it's time for the selection committee and like a little more than 2 weeks from now to sit down and put together a bracket. That's the type of win that they might talk about and be like, they won at Mackey, top 10 road win. Purdue might be a 2 seed. Again, you're going to have to see where all the bracketologists stand in the coming days. But that's the type of thing that can get you moved up from a 4 to a 3. Like if it's the discussion for that final 3 seed between Michigan State and some other team, say like Kansas or something, like that might be something they point to. Again, Kansas has some good ones too. That's just purely Gonzaga. That's a better one. Like Gonzaga, they got destroyed by Michigan. They lost to Portland, quad 3 loss. Gonzaga doesn't have a win like that. They don't. So, like, maybe that's the type of thing that it can be moving forward for Michigan State. But again, as well, it might get them that triple bye in the Big Ten tournament. You want to be a top 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament because that puts you straight to the quarterfinals. And you look at only needing to win 3 games in 3 days to win the Big Ten tournament instead of 4 and 4. And again, because the Big Ten tournament goes up until Sunday, Selection Sunday, there's a chance you don't really get much of a rest before it's time to go play in the tournament because the tournament you could be playing on Thursday. That's only 3 days of preparation for probably a 2 game, and because again it's 2 games in 3 days, assuming you win the first round. Like that's tough if you're coming out of the Big Ten tournament. I hate that the Big Ten tournament goes right up until the selection show, but that's how it is. Again, I think it's like CBS wants that lead-in game into the bracket reveal. It's all about money. You get what I mean. But still, that's important. Getting that top 4 seed, and Michigan State is well in position to get one now. If they beat Indiana, and they beat Rutgers, we'll see if they beat Michigan. Obviously, right now, if they win out, they'll get it. But if they get 2 wins here, if they win these next 2 games, I think they should be able to have it locked up. I don't know if it's mathematical in that way. But again, you'd have to think 15-5 if what Michigan State ends up getting, that would be good enough to be top 4 in the conference. There's been years that's been good enough to win the conference. It doesn't seem that's going to be that way this year. Well, it won't be because the worst Michigan can do is get 4 losses. I'm recording this before Michigan plays Illinois. When you watch this, Michigan might have locked up the outright title. But yeah, that's the worst Michigan can do as I'm recording this right now. But again, very, very important to get that top 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament because again, it minimizes the amount of games you have to play, and also again, like minimizes the risk of injury. Because last thing you want is someone to go down during the Big Ten tournament right before you have to go to the big dance. So again, moving forward though, very quick turnaround off of a super emotional high for Michigan State. Indiana's not like Indiana's a challenging game. Like Indiana isn't been great, hasn't been great this season, but like this isn't like Michigan State has lost to worse teams than Indiana. They've lost to Minnesota. That should always kind of be a message here. You've lost to Minnesota on the road. Do not take Indiana lightly. It's just that hangover thing of like, oh, we beat Purdue on the road. So what's Indiana? Because Indiana is not as good as Purdue. Well, Indiana played Michigan State pretty close for a good portion of its game at the Breslin Center earlier this season. It was like January. I can't remember the exact date, but like that game was like tied up earlier on in the second half. And then Michigan State went on this big giant run. And that was the game. Like it ended up being like a 20-point margin, but that was not indicative of how close that game was for a good portion of things. It was one giant run for MSU. That was the story of the game. So can you rely on that on the road? You really can't. You can't rely on like it was like a 23-4. It was something crazy. You can't rely on that materializing on the road when you're playing Assembly Hall, another great atmosphere that Michigan State is going into. So you're gonna have to play another good game. It's almost quad. It's a quad one game. It's almost quad 1A. Indiana's like just below the like you have to be top 37 for it to be quad 1A for a road game. Indiana was 39th on the net last I looked. So like it's a quality game. It's a really tough game. Indiana still hasn't done great against quad one opponents. That's why they're an NCAA tournament bubble team. But also, that's another reason why you should be worried about them. They're playing desperate. They took a bad loss to Northwestern on Tuesday. They have a rest advantage as well. So some dynamics at play don't lean in MSU's favor. So can you lock in off of a thrilling win, an emotional win, a physically draining win? Like you had to empty the tank to win that game. Can you lock in and go win another one on 2 days prep? It's going to be very, very interesting. But again, just more on more on the Purdue game though, since that's what people are talking about. We can't control what MSU does as far as the preparation goes. Just again, I think what stood out to me was just the balanced effort of it all. You didn't like there was that 5 game stretch from that Rutgers game to the Wisconsin game where Fears had to do everything for this team for them to have a shot. They've changed that. Fears was like decent, like 12-6, 1 turnover. Pretty decent game for him, but below his season averages. Still had enough to go beat Mackey on the road. Like it hasn't had to be all Fears now. You're getting contributions from several different guys. You saw contributions from bench guys. Kurt Hain hit a couple of big threes. He had some defensive plays, like that big cone car windmill dunk. That was because Kerr made a play. Let's see, Cam Ward, I liked. I would have liked to see him make that free throw at the end and not give Purdue that shot, at the very, very end. But hey, no harm, no foul, I guess, in the end, because Purdue didn't take advantage of it. But Ward made some good plays. Jordan Scott made some good plays. You saw, again, Cone Carr had a couple of fantastic dunks. Cooper, again, you're seeing Cooper play like a seasoned senior that he is, a guy who has continued to progress throughout his 4 seasons at Michigan State. You just kind of look around and you see a lot of guys that just played good, and played. You didn't see anything over the top, and you just saw a lot of guys doing their jobs, and that's why they won that game. Everyone did their job on Thursday night, and like that was a team basketball game. I think that's one of the things that stood out to me. Also, the rotation stood out because only 8 guys played. Trey Fort didn't play. Very first time this season he hasn't seen the court. And Jesse McCullough didn't play. Second time this season he's gotten a DNP. So you kind of saw kind of a mock trial, dress rehearsal type thing for the NCAA tournament here, I think. Because that was the type of game where Michigan State needed to absolutely maximize its output from its roster. And it had to constantly have its best 5 as it could possibly have on the court at all times. You can't play guys all 40 minutes, though. So you have to shuffle some guys in and out, fatigue reasons. But you can cut some things down. I mean, most coaches, you don't like Like even Izzo, like it was a strength in numbers was the motto of the team last year because they had 10 legitimate guys they could go to in the rotation throughout the season. They would constantly shuffle lineups. Even then, NCAA tournament went down to like 8. Like Zapala didn't really play, and Booker got cut out of the rotation pretty much entirely. And you saw some of those other starters' minutes go way up, and you saw that here. Like you saw McCullough, sorry, like you're not playing in this game. Fort, sorry, you're not playing in this game. Fort, I do have questions about because Wojcik did not play well in that game. He hasn't really played well in a while. Wojcik was -6 in just over 4 minutes of game time. MSU got outscored 13-7 while he was on the court. Not amazing because again he's not an offensive threat. He's only made 4 shots in 137 minutes all season, and like it looks like when he's running the offense, the very last thing he wants to do is like to attempt a shot. Like he's just really hesitant. And also defensively, teams are just realize he struggles to get around screens badly. So they just set a bunch of screens. Wojcik inevitably gets caught in one, and guys have to help, and then guys are scrambling, and that usually leads to an open shot for the other team, especially a team as good as Purdue at passing the ball. Again, second ranked Ken Palm offense in the country. So would you maybe you'd like to see Trey Fort get a look? If he's not playing right now, maybe you see them experiment with that, like say the Rutgers game. I don't know, a game you should probably win relatively easily. Do you give Jordan Scott a look at the one? I'd say maybe not because Scott's played 34 minutes in that game. He'll probably be playing about 30 minutes from here on out. That would be asking a lot of him to then also take over the role as point guard for a couple of minutes, though you could also maybe take some of those minutes devoted to being the backup point guard and give it to Curtain or Trey Ford. So there's a couple different ways you could do this, but to me, it's a little tough to imagine Scott or Fort running the one and having it look worse than what it is right now with Wojcik. Like it's nothing against him, but this is a guy who he was a bench player at Harvard, and now we're having him go out and give you legitimate minutes at Michigan State. It doesn't translate. It just doesn't translate like that. So yeah, I mean that's going to be something to look for in the future here. So we'll see what Izzo does. He's never really seemed to think or indicate that there's a change coming there. So that might just be something you're going to have to live with the rest of the way. But hey, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that kind of sums up my thoughts on right now. I'm going to be in Bloomington on Sunday for the game. Looking forward to seeing that atmosphere too, though it's going to be tough to top Mackey. That place was everything people say it is. That as a first time experience, that was my first time being there and seeing Boilermaker fans. That was special. That was pretty cool. It was good to see MSU win it. It made the 4-hour drive a little more worth it. But we'll see what happens in Bloomington. We'll be there for that for you right there. Once again, though, there'll be plenty of written content on both Michigan State, Purdue. You can already get some of that content at Michigan State Spartans on SI or SpartanNation.com. There'll be plenty more basketball content coming your way as the Big Ten tournament nears and the NCAA tournament nears. You'll get right where I mentioned it right there. Thank you all for watching or listening, whether you're right here on YouTube looking at my beautiful face or Spotify or Apple Music just listening to my voice. Thank you very much for taking your time out of your day. Once again, though, I'm Jacob Katsunika. I'll see you guys around.